Hello everyone, David Nuno, TexAgs Rewind, episode 2605. It's Tuesday, right, Slam?
Yes.
So she's a TikTok star. Everybody needs to follow her on her. How many followers you got? Like 1 million?
4,600.
4,600. That's more than I have because I have 0 followers on TikTok. Not my thing. Dirty look by Selena. All right, we on the show today had Aggies in the NFL. We also talked about the Cadet Golf Classic, great event. You certainly want to be a part of that. We had Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, who always brings positivity. Smile. See, we got some positivity there. And we got to know a little bit about Mississippi State here on TexAgs Rewind. Charean, let's get into the top 3 Aggies in the NFL. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with number 3. And, you know, Jermaine Illuminor was with the Dolphins in the preseason, make the team, goes to the Raiders. He's now starting at right guard, played the Dolphins. He's the only Raiders offensive lineman not to allow pressure. He graded out really, really well according to Pro Football Focus, which judges all these players every week. So I think you start there. We got to give the lineman some love every once in a while, but he did a great job against the Dolphins. Unfortunately for the Bucs, they lost. But what does it do to Mike Evans? 8 catches, 106 yards. He looked like Mike Evans again. Antonio Brown didn't play, and so that gave Evans more opportunities, and he really took advantage of those. One of the best receivers in the NFL, and I think we might be talking, Larry's our only Hall of Famer, and I think we may be talking about Mike Evans and Myles Garrett and Von Miller and some of these guys who are playing now as future Hall of Famers, and he's getting close to that with the crew that he's put together. And then obviously the number 1 is Myles Garrett sets the Browns' record for sacks in a game with 4.5. They had 9 total as a team, and he really challenged his teammates last week. He called them out publicly and said, when I'm double-teamed, when I'm chipped, my other guys have to get to the quarterback. I'm taking away pass rushers, and it's really frustrating to me that they can't get to the quarterback. They all feasted on Sunday, and he was the leader with 4.5, and just did an outstanding job there for the Browns, and they're playing some really good football right now. So I would say that's my top 3. There's some others who had good games, but to me, those 3 stood out.
Charean, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, right now we're going to talk to Ty Malachek and Aaron Dawson. Folds of Honor and Allen Academy are presenting the 2021 Cadet Golf Classic, designed to raise scholarship funds for families of fallen and disabled veterans through Folds of Honor, as well as to raise money for financial assistance and funds at Allen Academy. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So let's just start off with, I know you guys have been here before with Gabe throughout the years. In fact, I watched one of the interviews earlier. Just tell us a little brief history of how this tournament came about.
Well, I guess it started kind of 10 years ago and it's blossomed to what it is now. When we rebranded and officially made it the Cadet Golf Classic 5 years ago. As an Allen Academy alum, I kind of challenged myself to go back and give my part and have my service and do whatever I could. So the golf tournament was an easy platform. Miramont Country Club is a wonderful setting that we've been able to leverage, use all the resources locally, and help to the Financial Assistance Association there at Allen. And the beneficiary is ended up being Folds of Honor, which we felt a natural fit. The rich military history of Allen Academy, Corps Cadets here, and our military history here in A&M and locally and nationally with Folds of Honor as well. Lieutenant Dan Rooney challenged Aaron when he met him at an event one year, and he brought it back to the committee, and we felt it was such a natural fit that let's go ahead and rebrand and fully invest in these guys. And it's been a really special organization to be a part of, and they've got a great support system, and Lieutenant Dan Rooney is we're grateful for and continue to do our service.
Talk to me about Folds of Honor and the view, the vision, and the future.
So Folds of Honor raises money for for the kids of disabled servicemen and women or folks that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. They've given out close to 30,000 scholarships over the last 16 years. They have a great affiliation with Anheuser-Busch. So our speaker this year, Rocky Sickman. Rocky was a Marine and stationed in Iran back in the 70s and was held captive for 444 days. And he journaled about that, and somehow he was able to get the journal out. It's the only known journal that exists, and so he's coming to speak. And it's incredible to see all this come to fruition over the last 4 years. We've raised a little over $500,000 for both organizations. This year, we're hoping to continue to add to that.
I gotta hope. I gotta hope for something. They're going to be made eventually, and hopefully this weekend at Kyle Field.
Only if they put that time in and the work in. That you could say what you want. Only if that happens. Now, you look at the reconfigured offensive line towards the end of that game when they moved Blake Traynor to guard, and you move Kenyon Green out, and you had Ruben Fothery. Well, then 67 yards later, there's Isaiah Spiller.
Right.
The big what if for me, and Dave and Will on our broadcast, what if that pick gets negated because Isaiah gets crushed on that play? If it's not targeting, is that a personal foul? Not saying that they score there, but that totally changes from a momentum change of possession to Aggies still have the ball. They don't have Isaiah Spiller for the rest of that drive probably because he gets crushed by Hudson, the linebacker. That's an important non-call, but the defense can't put them in a 17-0 hole. This was the time, and this was the week where the offense says, okay, we'll take care of you. The defense said that 2 weeks ago at Colorado. Hey, just get us one score. We've taken care of this. Okay, this was the offense's turn. Offense couldn't get a chance to do that. But in the overall picture, to still be down just one score in that game, with Arkansas playing with so much momentum and so much to ride on, that's why I say it's not as gloomy as you think. And if you start getting some players back, that will also help as well.
Here's why I still stay a little gloomy. You got to run the ball.
I agree.
Got to run the ball.
I agree.
They got to find a way to run the ball because that is this team's DNA.
Doesn't that help Zach Calzada?
Absolutely.
If you're able to run the ball. I don't think they want to go in throwing 39 times. Now, if that's what it takes, I see that. But yes, to be able to run the ball. And the difference being, I think they have more negative rushes this year than they did last year. I thought that was a big key last year. And maybe, David, we have to stop comparing to last year. Maybe that's my fault too.
Yeah.
That team was a terrific team. Now, this year's team benefits from what they did, but the expectations change. But those negative yards, now you're putting a young quarterback at 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, where before it would be, man, it wasn't a big gain, but isn't 2nd and 7 a lot better than that? You can still do some different things. 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, your defense knows, okay, they're going to pass.
Who is their most dangerous offensive weapon?
I would say that it's Tulu Griffin, but that's a guy who doesn't get enough touches to really qualify for that. But I think he's the most explosive guy on this offense. I guess the answer would be Mekhi Polk, who is, I think, if my math is right, is coming up on over 40 catches just through 4 games. He has been a guy who's consistently gotten open, and they find a way to get to him. But Jaden Wally was their leading receiver a year ago, and he's been good so far this year. The transfer from Washington State, Jameer Calvin, has been good for them this year. And both the running backs have been okay. Jaquavius Marks and Dylan Johnson, when they've gotten their opportunities, have been able to move the football. State's got some skill position talent, more than it's had in years past, and they're doing a good job of distributing the ball pretty evenly amongst those guys.
Brian, one of the things that has happened with A&M is their offensive line has struggled a little bit because of inexperience and youth, and you got a backup quarterback at that's been holding the ball too long. So how is Mississippi State at providing pressure at opposing quarterbacks?
They're pretty good. You know, they lost their best pass rusher in the preseason, Jordan Davis. He tore his ACL. He's out for the year. So they do have to blitz probably a little more than they would like to get pressure, but Zach Arnett's just not afraid to blitz. He's willing to make the trade-off of giving up some big pass plays, which is what happened to them last week. 3 of LSU's touchdowns were on long passing plays. But he likes to get after the quarterback, and State does a pretty good job of that. They've got some guys who can rush the passer. So if that's been an issue for Texas A&M, that's definitely a positive for Mississippi State.
How is it to deal with Coach Leach during the ups and the downs? I've dealt with him before, always very pleasant to be around, but there have been some ups and downs, and I don't think I would assume the level of success that maybe was initially expected, at least offensively.
Yeah. We're not getting the quips and the funny stories as much here in Starkville right now. My guess is if he stays here and he continues to succeed and gets more comfortable, those things will come. You know, right now you're sort of getting the same guy week in and week out, and that he's not happy about what's happening out there on the field. But at the same time, he's not, you know him, he's not going to give you a full breakdown of, this is why it's happening. So the press conferences, just in a word, are kind of boring.
That's interesting to say. So when you say if he's still around, is his job in jeopardy, or is it maybe not the right fit for him? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, we're only 15 games into his tenure. So, I mean, it's too early to think about anything like that. But I'll say this, if State misses a bowl game this year, and right now, they would be favored to do so. Going to next season, the State's schedule is pretty tough next year. You pick up Georgia as your other East team. You have to travel to Alabama, to LSU, to Ole Miss. Those are always tough stops. And then your games that you feel like you can I always call them toss-up games, but they haven't been in the past couple of years. But Auburn, Arkansas, A&M, at least you get those at home. But it's a tough schedule. I mean, if he has 3 straight losing seasons, I mean, that's something that Mississippi State fans it's not going to sit well. So he's not on any kind of hot seat right now. I'm not worried about that. But if he continues to struggle this year, next year could be a big year for him.
It's the hardest part of the show. What do we do?
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
And there's also one other thing. Can you figure out what else you're supposed to do? If you want to watch the entire show, go to TexAgs.com and subscribe. Okay? Become a subscriber. It is awesome.
I said subscribe.
But to the YouTube page. What about the
Okay.
text? See,
Okay.
so basically what we're saying is
Subscribe twice.
correct. And comment a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, but only nice things.
Yes.
We don't like mean things.